So, although there has very clearly been signs of Russian setbacks in Ukraine, and there has been talks of Russia perhaps wanting to pivot to only capturing the Donbas region and afterwards securing a peace with Ukraine, essentially. We still have to look at the situation in the east and be honest and say that this looks a little bit dangerous for Ukraine. On the eastern front here, like the east of the eastern front, we see several attacks from the separatist forces with some reinforcement from Russia. Although if you look at where these borders were at the start of the war and where they are now, and these have resulted in very small territorial gains for the Russian forces and separatist forces. However, there is a thing called fixing attacks, where you try to hold an enemy force in place through attacking it, and there has been some talks of that perhaps being what Russia is trying to do here, rather than push them further west directly. With that said, though, these cities of Avdiivka, New York, Zaitsev are really heavily entrenched through years of warfare here. So it may just be that they are really hard for the Russians to take. In the north here, they have this bridgehead over the Donets River, trying to expand it from Kamyanka, both in the southern and western direction. We don't really know the status of this, but the fact that Russia has crossed here is very dangerous for Ukraine. And in the south, it seems Russia is starting to bring some more forces here and trying to push through these somewhat lighter Ukrainian troops in this area. What Russia essentially wants to do here is likely that they want to push through in both the northern and southern directions, and eventually encircle all of the Ukrainian troops here. Although it has been said that the troops Russia has available in these areas at the moment are not sufficient to pull this maneuver off. So from a more pro-Russian perspective, then this pivot to focusing on the Donbas area and removing troops from Kiev and Chernihiv, and perhaps to some extent from Kherson as well, may be to get the troops needed to pull off this encirclement into this area. Of course, there is also the possibility that Russia has quite had enough of the amount of resistance it has met and wants to do one final push to capture the rest of Donbas and then get out of Ukraine.